Church and social media. It is a unique challenge for two reasons. Number one, for most people, social is not their primary responsibility at church. So they typically feel out of their element a little bit. And then number two, social is constantly shifting. So even if you do feel like you've got a grasp on it, you blink and everything you thought you knew suddenly changes. Put those two together, and no wonder church social media managers feel the way that we do. And look, I get it. I'm not helping, right? I'm posting, I'm podcasting. Oh, new trend here. Stop doing this thing that used to work. It doesn't work anymore. If you want to dive deep, that stuff is helpful. But if you want to tune all of that out, I get it as well, because really there are three rules you need to prioritize. These three rules are not affected by trends. They have been true during every era of social media in the past. They will be true for every era going forward. So if you feel overwhelmed by all the different advice and tips and strategies, this is for you. Just these three rules. It's all you need. And if I can tell you a secret, guess what? I feel overwhelmed by this stuff at times too. So what I do is I refocus on these three rules. It brings me back to what matters. And what's nice about these rules is they build on each other. So let's spend the day together. All right, we're going to start our morning here at home. We'll head to the office a bit later, say hello to the team. We'll grab some lunch and progress through these three rules together. By the end, we'll be able to put social media in a neat little box, and hopefully it won't feel like an out-of-control monster wreaking havoc on our lives. And yeah, I know what you've been thinking this whole time. Yes, I drink my coffee through a glass straw. I was getting these mysterious stains on my teeth. My dentist suggested we give it a try. On my return visit, no stains. So I've been doing this for a few years now. So our social media philosophy is a blank canvas right now. We need to know what to post, right? So our posting strategy for social is just three words: no weeks off. Of course, we need to know about post formats and platform choices and things like that. But those things are seasonal. No weeks off is forever. Because yes, every church that affects life change online does it all a bit differently. But there's one constant. They are all consistent. And so I want you to empty your mind of all the distractions on social, okay? And the tips for optimizing this and that, because if you're not fully committed to the rhythm of no weeks off, those other things just won't matter. Hashtags, post timing, should this be a collab post? Should this not be a collab post? That stuff's just inconsequential at the end of the day. No weeks off is what I want you to put your focus on. By the way, this is my first time wearing these new shorts. They're this knit material. I am a sucker for knit. These are from the British brand Cole Buxton. I got them on sale because they were left over from last season. Honestly, who slept on these? When I got them, my wife, she really liked them, which is always a huge plus. She's not always a fan of the knit and crochet choices that I make. And before you say anything about this shoehorn, it's not because I'm too lazy to bend over and put my shoe on. Although if you watched last week's episode, guys, I have a knee issue. Come on, really rude. This is so you don't bend and crease the back of your shoes. These shoes are nice. They're my favorite silhouette shoe. They're kind of like Air Forces, but not exactly. And they're a nice leather. If I'm shoving my foot in every single time, they're gonna get creased. So come on, don't be such a bully. Come on. So they're putting a pizza place right now beneath our office. So soon it'll just smell like pizza all the time, which I guess is good. Actually, I don't know if you're supposed to know they're building a pizza place. That might still be a secret. So don't tell anyone. We might have to cut this. So we have our posting strategy, right? No weeks off. Next, we need to find a way to actually evaluate what we're doing, a way to improve and get better, which brings us to rule number 2. Repeat the best, forget the rest, continue to test. And as we stay committed to our rhythm of no weeks off, we are going to be starting to get feedback on our posts, feedback in the form of reach, likes, comments, shares, engagement. People will essentially vote with their attention to let us know if they care about the posts that we're making. And after about 90 days of no weeks off, it's time to reflect on our work. Now, this is key. Don't do 30-day intervals here. Unless you're posting every single day. 90 days really is the sweet spot I've found for having enough information to make good decisions. And all you'll want to do here is basically review your posts. Which ones did well? Which ones not so well. And remember, you're comparing your posts against your posts. This isn't about what some other church did. This is you against you. And the idea is to sort your posts into groups, the clear winners and the clear losers, and then look for the commonalities. Among the winners, what shared traits can you identify? Maybe it's post format or subject matter. Same thing for the losers. What commonalities can you spot? Maybe every time you post a quote, it bombs, for one example. And look, there's going to be a lot of noise in this data. You won't learn every lesson needed from one 90-day sample, but hopefully, one or two big takeaways you can identify, and then in the next 90-day interval, you can improve a little bit more from there. And how do we improve? We repeat the best, forget the rest, continue to test. That group of posts that you identified as winners, do more of that. The losers, do less of that. And then in the next 90-day interval, try something completely new, because you never know what post format might resonate with your audience until you try it. So for me, I always try to reserve about 10% of my publishing calendar for experimentation. I've also been at this for more than a decade, so I've got a pretty decent pulse on what kind of content my audience enjoys. But if you're still getting your feet wet at this sort of thing, maybe a quarter of your content should be dedicated to experimentation. And by now, I hope you can see how rules 1 and 2 work together. Rule 1, no weeks off. It's how you get your hands dirty, you're actually publishing content, and you're doing the work. And then rule 2 is how you refine your skills and get better. With every 90 days, you level up because you get more honest feedback from people, which in turn helps you get better. So you're posting on social, you're staying committed, you're evaluating your work, you're getting better. And then one day, you head home after a long day at the church and you think to yourself, why am I even doing any of this at all? What is the point? And you're sad. Don't worry, we've all been there. And we'll all be there again in the future. And this is what rule number 3 is for. More people plus your people. I'll explain what I mean. Social media has 2 axes. There's depth and width. Every effort you make on social is either about reaching wide, more people, or connecting deep with your people. And this is part of why I love social. No effort is ever wasted, because with every post, we have the chance of introducing our church to thousands of new people. And when that happens, it is so special. It's exciting seeing the effort that you put in to present the gospel and the work of the local church in ways that resonate with people. But the reality is, not every post you publish is going to do that. And in those cases, the consolation prize, if we can call it that, is connecting with your existing followers, most likely your congregation, in deeper ways. So when you get stuck and you wonder to yourself, why am I even doing this? What is the point? Just remind yourself of rule 3. More people plus your people. That's the reason that we do this. And honestly, I have been craving a lobster roll all summer. I want to make a trip one time where I just go to Maine and all I do is eat different lobster rolls. The lobster roll road trip. So let's dive in. So I know I promised just 3 rules, but I think that this bonus one really does matter. If you're still watching at this point, it's because you probably really care about this sort of thing, which is great. It probably also means, though, that you are uniquely vulnerable to the performance and quality of your work affecting your worth as a human being. And I know this because I am a sufferer of it myself. This YouTube series, Pro Church Tools Inc. is a perfect example. I'm pouring so much of my creative energy and life force into these videos, and so I am vulnerable to the performance of them affecting how I'm feeling. As for solution, now for me, I just keep repeating to myself, your work is not your worth. And you repeat it to yourself enough times until you hopefully start to believe it. And social media is tricky, it's gonna prey on your weaknesses and make you feel like you're not good enough. You gotta resist that. And then also prioritize time in your calendar for things that restore your body and mind. After you've poured so much of yourself and emptied yourself into your creative work. For example, I'm right here at my massage therapist's office right now. After I'm done with you, I'm gonna go in there, get some work done, so hopefully I can relieve some of the tension that I seem to carry in my traps in my neck. But, hey, it's been great spending the day together. Let's do it again sometime, yeah?
Let's get it rolling.
Whoa. Whoa. I can't hear anything in this dialogue, and then they go to like an intense scene, and you're like, whoa! What are you listening to down there? Nothing! Ah! In your face. You like that?